You want to live an extraordinary life. You cannot take ordinary actions. If you want to be an outlier, you cannot group yourself amongst the masses. The journey to the top 1% is not a fun one. It's an uncomfortable one that requires you to be going against the grain day and day again. You need to understand that you will need to do what 99 out of 100 are not willing to do. This video is not for those seeking comfort, but for those who are willing to grow, strive, and go through the turmoil in order to create an extraordinary life. In fact, this video may be uncomfortable to a lot of you guys because it'll remind you of some of the failures you've had or are afraid of having. But I urge you to push through this because it is not in comfort that we grow. The muscle does not grow when it is comfortable, but when it is torn. And when it is torn and well nourished, that's when it grows and becomes stronger. And just like this, the mind does not grow when it is comfortable. You will have to learn to push yourself like 99 out of 100 people don't. Hard work alone will not make you top 1%. In fact, there's only a few things that will make you top 1%. It's not cold showers, it's not meditation, it's not monk mode, and those things are great, but you can forget about those because if you get these 4 things right, then all things else will fall into place. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how the top 1% all seem to have such a high level of discipline and how you can too. Step 1, how you view money matters. So I say money, but that can be success in whatever you're looking for. If you clicked on this video, for many of you, that is money. Now, the first thing you need to understand is that you have been preconditioned to not be top 1%. In fact, you've been preconditioned to be part of the 99%. The majority, and probably statistically 99% of your life, you have been surrounded by other people who are 99%. Because statistically, if you meet 100 people, 99% of them are mediocre. So before you come into this video with your preconceptions telling me, no, you're wrong, just remember what you think is right and what 99% of people think is right if you want to be in the 99%. But if you want to be in the top 1%, you have to start rewiring your mind to see things differently. Now, if you're open to this rewiring, then the rest of this video is perfect for you. Now, imagine this. You've just been kidnapped, you were thrown into the desert, and you were left there. You've been there 3 days. You're sweating, the sun is beating down on you. You have nothing to drink, your throat is super parched, and you're looking for water everywhere. You cannot find a drop. Moments later, you see an airplane pass. Boom, they find you. That is your rescue squad. Now, the moment they pick you up, what is the first thing that you ask for? It's probably water, and then it's probably food. Because without those 2 things, you're gonna die. So the first lesson in becoming top 1% is priorities. Because imagine if in that scenario, after 3 days in the desert, the first thing that you asked for was to play some more video games. In that scenario, you would die. So the top 1% see success as necessary. They see it as a requirement. And that means that the first things they look for are the things that lead them to this success. Psychologists have literally studied the most successful people, and what they found is a feeling of deserving success, requiring success. And you don't need to feel this way, but you need to feel that a mediocre life is not for you. You need to feel that being in the 99% is not for you. Because when you feel this way, that being top 1% or even 10%, whatever it is a requirement, then your priorities will follow. Because in the life of business, when you've gone 3 days without food or water, the first thing that you ask for cannot be another logo. You have to focus on what is a requirement. Step number 2, your environment. Now, I'm not talking about where you live, although that is important. I'm talking about who you surround yourself with. So imagine this. You're chilling at home, hear a knock on the door. You open the door, and the person you see right there is Alex Hermosi. He says to you, bro, how would you like $500,000 to start your business? You say, yes, of course. But then he says there's a catch. And you know what the catch is? The catch is you have to spend this $500,000 on a board of advisors. So you can spend it on 5 advisors, 1 advisor, and they can give you the best advice in the world. So you think to yourself, okay, it's not $500,000 for whatever I want, but it's still super helpful. I mean, I could probably hire the best people in the world. I could hire anyone to show me exactly how to start a business, to show me exactly how to get to where I want to go in life. But then he says there's one more catch. He says the person you hire has to be in your top 5 closest friends. Take a look at your top 5 closest friends. It can be family too. Is this the person that you want giving you advice? Are these guys going to be on your team rooting for you, or are they going to be rooting against you? Will they tell you to make the smart decision, or will they say selfishly, let's take that money and go out and party? And I think if we had $500,000 to spend on the best board of advisors, it would not be the 5 people closest to us. Because if you had that much money, you would curate the team around, and that's exactly what you need to do with your environment. Now, I'm not saying that your friends and your family need to act like your employees and only talk business, but it's imperative that they will at least stand by your side and support you. They shouldn't be making fun of your business ideas. They shouldn't be putting you down saying you can't do that, you'll never be able to. Because just like a black belt in jiu-jitsu will not laugh at a white belt who's trying because he knows what it's like to try, someone who's been there and done that, who is top 1%, isn't gonna laugh at someone who's trying, because they had to start somewhere too. So if you aspire to be in the top 1%, this step is critical. This could mean finding a mentor who's been where you want to go. It could mean joining communities of people that can support you, or just spending more time with the friends you have that already align with your values. Remember, your environment can either stunt or accelerate your growth. And if your environment isn't currently serving you, I would encourage you to be brave and change it. And you might ask, okay, I understand, but what is the next step? How do I really change my environment? How do I find these extraordinary people? And what I'll say to that is that the best things in life never happen by accident. Things happen with intentionality. Be proactive in seeking new communities. Be proactive in reaching out to possible mentors. Attend events, join clubs, participate in online forums. Everything can be online now. And once you immerse yourself in these communities, be helpful first. Because if you're helpful first, then they will be helpful back. And maybe they won't be. But those that aren't helpful back, you probably didn't want them to be your friends anyways. Step number 3, executing yourself into the top 1%. So I know I said environment is one of the most essential steps. Well, what environment does is really determine how fast you grow. What this step does is determine if you grow at all. Execution isn't merely about what you do, it's about how you do it, when you do it, and why you do it. Direction, decisiveness, and time management. That's what execution boils down to. Step 1 of how to execute. Direction. So you can have all the hard work, all the resilience, all the intelligence, all the patience, all the attributes you need, but if you're focused in the wrong direction, your efforts were futile. Now, not a complete waste, definitely a bigger waste of time than if you were just focused in the right direction. Because if you're going in the wrong direction with all the other character traits that you need, it's like the best ship in the world without a navigation system. So when you set your direction, it's ideal to have a clear vision of exactly where you want to go, so you can be the most efficient without wasting your time zigzagging around. If you want to be a lawyer, you don't go to school to be a dentist, because then you just waste more time. And it's the same in life. If you want to have a business, then you should take the steps to learning how to operate your own business as fast as possible. But I know being very clear on where you want to go is difficult, especially if you're young. But what's a lot easier is knowing what you don't want. And you don't need to know exactly what you want, but it's very easy for you guys to know what you don't want. And you have this process of elimination. If there was 100 different possible routes, you know you don't like 80% of them. So that narrows it down dramatically. And many people have what's called the fallacy of beginning, which is where they think that the first business that they have is going to be the business that they have for the rest of their life. So they don't want to clean gutters, because if they clean gutters now, they're going to have a cleaning gutter empire, and they just don't want to see themselves doing that forever. First of all, you can make millions cleaning gutters if you operate it right. Second of all, 99% of the time, you're not going to have the same business as you did when you started versus the next 10 years. And so when you want to figure out what life direction to go in, which is a huge step in your life, there's 2 types of approaches. There's the archaeologist and the architect. Now, the architect, much like they design blueprints, they know exactly where they're going. They plan for the failures, the successes, the plateaus. They know how many people they're gonna hire, when they're gonna hire. They have this ideal vision in mind, right? They create a blueprint of what they want their life to look like. And I would say, if you have this idea in your mind, great, use it. But it's probably gonna end up changing anyways, which is why for most people, the archaeologist approach is 10 times better and way more adaptable. So it's not about carefully curating everything and how everything's gonna go according to your plan, but it's about heading in the right direction, digging up the dirt, discovering this is probably closer or this is further, and going in the right direction over time. With enough time, you end up finding what you like and how you like it. So imagine this scenario. You just graduated college. You spent 4 years studying to be an electrical engineer. So now you really have one option to go, and that's to be an engineer. I mean, you can do other things, but it makes most sense for you to be an engineer. But what if before going to college, you had taken a 1-year break and you had done an internship in an engineering school, you did an internship at a hospital, you did an internship with a plumber, you did 5 different job sectors. You find out you hate engineering, you don't like nursing, plumbing's too boring for you, but that one guy that you did an internship who had a business, that seemed pretty cool. So now you go to college to study for business. And that is what the archaeologist does. Trial and error. To figure out, this is closer to where I want to go, so let me move in this direction. Because the archaeologist may have their carefully curated plan, but when that plan will eventually fail, and it will, then everything else needs to adapt. And as an archaeologist, you are more adaptable. So while the archaeologist and the architect may seem like opposite sides, they are actually opposite sides of the same coin. And that is the coin of execution. And I actually encourage you to embrace both sides of this. When you can plan like the architect. But when you don't have enough data, be more like the archaeologist. Carry that open-mindedness and the possibility of new discoveries, just like the archaeologist. And in this way, you will be adaptable to any environment. Step 2 in execution is decisiveness. Decisiveness, make your move. You've heard of them or you've seen them, but analysis paralysis is a disease that has infected far too many people. So many people, time in and time out, lose opportunities just because of overthinking it. But success, and all top 1%ers know this, success favors a bias towards action, which means taking action. Any action is better than no action at all. And so in the chess game of life, you make your move, right? But imagine if you skipped your turn and you let the opponent move. Now, I'm not gonna get too complicated. In some scenarios that might be better. So in the chess game of life, it's about making the best possible move, the information that you have. Yes, you might make the wrong move, or what seems like the wrong move, but you cannot go back, you cannot undo, redo, complain to the ref. You can only move forward. And the best players, the top 1%ers, see life as a game of chess because you learn from your mistakes and you adapt, and you move forward better than you were before. Decisiveness is about committing to your goals, taking calculated risks, and living with the decision. Stepping out of your comfort zone for a possibility to take a step that could lead to changing your life. Time management, harnessing your most valuable resource. Time waits for nobody. And you can have everything else that I've said so far, but if you cannot manage your time, you will not go anywhere. You need to understand that the top 1% and the best time managers are not those who know what to say yes to, but those who know what to say no to. Time management process begins with prioritization. Prioritization means that some things come first, others come second, no matter what. If you don't believe me, then listen to Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple, who said,
focusing doesn't mean saying yes, it means saying no. So we decide not to do a lot of things so we can focus on a few handfuls of things and do them well.
So learning how to say no, which is pretty uncomfortable, is the first step towards time management. And if you don't guard your time, then I promise something or someone is gonna take it. Direct course, select route, and manage time. These are the 3 pillars of execution. But if you plan on executing once and thinking that the rest of your life is gonna be set up, then you're doomed for failure. Because the top 1%, they don't just know how to execute right and do it better than 99% of people, but they know how to do it time in and time out again. Step 4, execute without exhaustion, keeping your discipline high. So let's define what we mean by discipline. Discipline is not about becoming a monk or being able to do 1,000 push-ups in a row. It's about making the choices that align with your long-term goals, despite how good it would feel to make different choices now. It's the driving force behind most of your actions. It's what determines whether you eat another slice of pizza or you have a salad. Self-discipline is the armor to procrastination, the shield against distraction, and the weapon against your self-doubt. It's what makes you go to the gym even when you don't feel like it. And self-discipline is a requirement for becoming 1%. But what is the secret to this holy character trait? What if I told you that you already know? Here's a formula that can explain how much you'll get done in life. Driving force minus friction times execution plus time equals output. Now obviously there's luck in here, but this is all the variables that you can control. The driving force represents your mindset of success. Step number 1, how high is success a priority on your list? How much of a requirement is it? Friction represents your environment, which is step number 2. It is the lubricant or the friction. It is the determinant of how fast or slow you can go along your path. Execution and time are things that multiply your progress. If you can execute at a skill level 10 over 10 years, then you get a result of 100. But if you can execute at a skill of 10 only over 1 year, then it's only a factor of 10. So you might be asking, where does discipline fit into this equation? Because I see steps 1, 2, and 3. Discipline is the time and how long you can sustain that execution. Because if you have a skill level of 10 in execution, but only 2 in discipline, then you only have a factor of 20. But if you have a skill level of 7 in execution and a skill level of 7 in discipline, then you have a factor of 49. So discipline is a driving force that propels you and your habits and your characters that you've built up into all the success that you're going for. And so the secret that the top 1% have, the secret to how they stay disciplined every day, is that they've been doing the same thing for 10 years. It has become a part of who they are. And when I tell you that nobody's born with discipline, I mean it. And some people have more discipline than others. But discipline is something that is chiseled into your character. And you get discipline by disciplining yourself. And you get better at discipline the more you discipline yourself. And the big secret is that when you get steps 1, your mindset, and steps 2, your environment right, it makes becoming disciplined so much easier. Because once the foundations of your life have been adequately laid, it makes becoming disciplined so much easier. It makes your life go with the grain rather than against the grain. So in essence, it all boils down to making a start. You need to go through the journey of rewiring your mind. You need to construct and curate an environment that best serves you. You need to learn how the top 1% execute, and then you need to learn about how to get the insane drive that leads you to execute over time. And this discipline and success isn't about grand leaps, but it's about constant 1% improvements. Because over a long enough time horizon, if you keep improving, you will get that 10 out of 10 discipline. The top 1% figured this out, and now you have the blueprint as well. It's time to step into the arena and face your extraordinary potential. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys learned something and got some insight from this video. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.